Here's an entertaining one about a guy who definitely set himself up to be taken advantage of. However, in spite of all that, this also demonstrates just the amount of the ego and sense of entitlement that so many gals have, and you're about to see. Titled, Am I the a-hole for bursting out loud laughing when she told me what she brought to our relationship? And a shout out to Nishad for sending me this story. The guy says here, I apologize for the mouthful of a title. I was trying to be descriptive as possible. I, a 25-year-old male, have been dating my girlfriend Jen, a 24-year-old female, for 9 months. 5 months ago, Jen lost her job when her company went under, and around the same time, she had a falling out with her roommate. She was in urgent need of housing, but in an awkward position for employment status, so she reluctantly asked if she could move into my house. Okay, so they're dating 4 months and already she wants to move in. So her business went under, whether it was hers as a co-owner or someone she worked for, falling out with her roommate, and now wants to move with him after 4 months. A little sketchy. I agree because we'd already spent the night together several times, and she moved in under the condition that she'd be looking for work to contribute. Smack! You never move in with your girl or have your girl move in unless you've been with her for years and you want to marry her, not because you're going to be a white knight. Now watch this. No good deed goes unpunished. Now back on our second date, when I asked Jen if she wanted to be exclusive, she responded by asking me what I would bring to the relationship to her. He asked her to become exclusive on the second date? Smack! What does that communicate to her? This guy's desperate. This guy's so desperate to get a girl to pay attention to him that he's trying to lock me down the second date? Bro, she could have been that hot. I answered as pragmatically as possible, of course, because that's how you're thinking. I bring a stable income, loyalty, companionship, willingness to compromise, and consistent attention to my appearance and hygiene. I didn't really care much for the question at the time, and so while she seemed mildly satisfied with what I said, I didn't ask her in return. Well, of course not, because you're desperate for any girl to pay attention to you. Watch how this turns out. I feel like I've held up my end of the bargain. But after moving in, Jen only really looked for work for about 2 weeks. She now spends the majority of her waking hours on Instagram, TikTok, and Netflix. I've raised the issue with her indirectly before by asking her how her job search was going, and she said nobody was hiring, which I find hard to believe. Yeah, No, it's that she found a sucker, and she can just sit on the couch and freeload off all day looking at TikTok and Instagram, watch Netflix, or probably trying to find this guy's replacement while she doesn't have to pay for anything. I told you this guy's an idiot. Well, yesterday in the evening, I finally hit my limit. Jen drank a bottle of wine that I was saving for a romantic evening and spent the rest of her day screwing around on her phone. After work, I sat her down and asked what she thought she brought to the relationship. Now, mind you, the way this guy's describing what she's been doing all this time, listen to her answer what she brings to the relationship. She just stared at me for a few seconds and said that I had asked the dumbest question in the history of mankind. Gaslighting. Then she erupted, frantically pointing at herself. Me, she said. I'm the prize. From my perspective, this was coming from a woman who had just gotten day drunk off of wine, watching Netflix, and ate all my food. I honestly couldn't contain myself and I burst out laughing. Every time I looked back at her, she'd give me this incredulous look while shrugging, which only made me laugh harder. Well, bro, you asked her to be your girlfriend on your second date. And obviously, she has a little power in this relationship. And she's been freeloading off you all this time, and you haven't obviously brought anything up till recently. So, in her mind, she is this great prize. You're willing to put up with all this shit because you're a fucking moron. But she's an asshole, yeah. Jen got really angry at me for letting out this wailing shriek sort of sound. She stormed off to another room where I'm 100% sure she just screwed around her phone more. I haven't talked to her since. I feel like I might have gone too far here. Was I the asshole? You're the a-hole for getting involved with her, asking her to be your girlfriend on the second date. You didn't even know her. But you communicated to her on the second date that, oh my God, this guy's desperate, and she can milk you. And that's exactly what she's done. And you're the a-hole for showering her with everything and giving her everything like one of these chumps in these rom-coms. Look how it's paid off. On the rom-coms, it pays off for the nice guy, but in reality, it doesn't. And she's a big giant a-hole, and obviously in her mind, she's the prize, as a lot of them think. But then again, you've been treating her like the prize. So guys, there you go. Don't make this guy's mistakes. Do not be this guy. But But for quick fun here, I'm going to read some of the comments. And this first comment, this is funny. This is from a grandmother. Like her handle's Granny something, I think. Grandma says, not an a-hole, but you were blinded by her artificial light. Here are my grandma thoughts. Number 1, she contributed to the business going under. Possibly. 2, the roommate was in the right. 3, you asked for exclusivity before you knew her style. All that glitters is not gold. All right, second date screams desperation. 4, she was on the prowl for a meal ticket from day 1. 5, she's prowling online for your replacement. This is a grandmother. Been a long time since she was young and single and pointing these things out. 6, lock up your account numbers and change passwords and get her out of there as soon as possible. 7, the stories she told you about her terrible exes were not all true. Oh, guarantee he got the stories about her terrible exes. 8, stop having sex with her if you don't want 18 years of child support. If she thinks you're kicking her to the curb, she's going to love bomb you. She'll get pregnant by somebody. And there you go. And 9, she does not love you. If she did, she'd be trying to enhance your life, not drain it dry. If she loved this guy, she'd be working her butt off to get a job, or while she's looking, cook meals, clean the house, show her affection, show her care for him in some other way. Not just freeloading. That's what she's doing. You know she's hooking up with somebody else on the side. Another guy says, you're the a-hole to yourself. There was no roommate problem. She quit her job. You're getting used and bending over to allow it. This whole what do you bring to the table nonsense is a smokescreen over you getting used by a useless slob. Send her back to your parents. You can guilt her into getting a damn job again. And last one that says, men date women, women do not date men. We bring everything from day 1. We must take them out, buy them gifts, be romantic, be a slayer in the sack, be spontaneous, gas and eating out 90% on us. We must all play the game of reading her mind, and then we still must go down on one knee and spend thousands on a ring to prove our love, and then they get their big wedding day. Men are loved on the condition of what they can do for women. Women and kids are loved because they exist. The above is all facts, and yet 1% of women actually put effort into dating their boyfriends or husbands. Amen. There you go. Kick her to the curb. She's trash, and wake the fuck up and learn reality. Otherwise, you're going to keep being used until it gets even much, much worse.